Hey guys, I am going to walk you all through a quick example of working with background images in HTML and CSS. And really the magic all happens inside of CSS. So I have a few images that I made in Photoshop. One is just sort of a simple minimal background that I'm going to use to demonstrate how to put a background image in across the entire web page. Another that I'll use to demonstrate how to put a background image inside of, let's say, the wrapper. Another one that I'll use to put a background image inside of just a div. And then one that we'll use to put like another large one that we'll put inside the wrapper. Okay, it all happens the same way. It's really just what you apply it to. Okay, so let me walk you through then what I have set up inside of Visual Studio Code. In Visual Studio Code, I have just a basic HTML document. I started with my starter file, and I just put something inside the body. I just typed hello world just so that there's something there. I also made a file called style, and I linked it. Now I'll show you what that looks like inside of my my RIP folder. So in my CDN 2019 folder, or 219 folder, I've got in my demo folder, this is where that file exists, background demo. And I put those images here inside of this image folder. And then I've got my style. So very much the way that you would have your project set up. I've got an HTML file, an images folder, and a style. Okay. So what we'll do for the first example is I'm going to make the background image apply to the entire site. Okay. So in my style, and we would do that by targeting the body tag. The body tag surrounds the entire website, the entire visual website. So I've already got a body defined here. It's just a body tag. And I'll go ahead and I'll do something first. I'll do something that you guys are familiar with already. I'll just add a background color to it just so you can see what that looks like. So my background color now for this page, let's see here. Yep, I got one chat. Hello, work with me here. I'm going to open that page up, and we should have a screaming red background at this point. Yeah, there it is. So that's what a background color looks like if you apply it to the body, right? Let's talk about that for the entire site in terms of using an image. So I'm going to take that background color out. Background image is a property that looks like this. That's the property. And what we do is we use this code URL, and we call out to the image. Now, my image is inside of an images folder, as are yours. So you're going to want to begin with images / then the name of the file. Okay. So I will save that, come on over here and refresh, and it should apply that now to the entire page. And there we go. So no matter how big or how small that background image gets, it will just essentially keep tiling over and over again and fill the background. I've actually got a tab here open as well. I'll put this link to this inside of our class. But this is all of the different property values that come along with the background image property. So there's all sorts of things you can do with it. You can tile it, you can not tile it, you can tile it in certain directions. There's a whole bunch of different properties that are awesome. Let's talk about a few other ways to potentially do this, or uses for this, I guess. So let's maybe put in a wrapper. So I'm going to go ahead and make a div, give it a class of wrapper, and we'll close that down here. Now I'll go ahead and I'll define that in my style sheet. So we are talking to a class, so it starts with a dot, wrapper. I'm going to go ahead and give that a width. Maybe we'll make it 960 pixels. Now, normally I wouldn't give my wrapper a height. We would let the content dictate the height, but I don't have content really in this case. This is just a generic example. So I'm going to go ahead and add an artificial height on this of like, I don't know, like 1200 pixels. So it's nice and tall. We'll go ahead and we'll use the background image property here. URL. Opening, closing parentheses, opening, closing quotations, call out to the images folder. And I'll go ahead and use this background image too. There we go. Cool. Let's see what that looks like now in the browser. We should have a wrapper. Once I refresh, we should have a wrapper, and the wrapper should have its own background pattern. There we go. Let me center that wrapper as well. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw a margin of auto on this so it centers. There we go. Now, obviously, having background patterns in the body as well as in the wrapper gets a little ugly. Notice also this is not a good example of a tiling background. This diagonal pattern does not tile well. That's one I actually just found. If you're going to be doing searches for patterns, I strongly recommend searching for tiling patterns because they will repeat. And you can see here, actually, this is not a good repeatable pattern. It's off. So it does not work well. And I didn't intend for that to happen, but I'm glad it did so that you guys can see an example of what happens when a pattern does not tile seamlessly. Let's see. I'll do another one as well. So this is a smaller one that keeps repeating. Let's do a large one. I know a few of you have an example of that in your own actual site. So I think that was image number 4 that I used for that. Let's go ahead and refresh this. There we go. So there's the big tiling repeatable pattern. And again, obviously, like I mentioned, from a design standpoint, it gets really gaudy if you have multiple background images between your body and your and your wrapper as well. So I don't recommend that. I'm going to get rid of one of those, and now we only have it inside of the wrapper. Now, the cool thing about a background image, when you apply like this, it is not physically occupying space. You can almost think about it as like wallpaper put on the back of a box. It doesn't actually occupy any space, so you can still put the regular content that you normally would inside of your wrapper. So I hope that is a useful, quick introduction to background images. I am going to make a separate demo here in just a moment for applying an image to a background of, like, let's say, a banner, so that we could maybe overlay our navigation over it. But I'm going to stop this video here now, and I'll make a second one for that.